Good morning, Night City. My name is Lainey. I am a sex educator, a psychological researcher in the realm of romantic attraction and rejection, a former cognitive neuroscience professor, a part-time mental health coach, a cosplayer, and most importantly, for the purposes of this video, a female gamer who likes guys. I know. Just forget that for a second. Let's go back to 2020, when we were all swept up in the frenzied anticipation of the premature dumpster fire that grew up to be the masterpiece that so many of us have grown to love. Personally, I was excited to see how the game handled romance. After all, studying the way people in general handle romance has pretty much been my life's work. So how did Cyberpunk do? In overly technical terms, the game favors Gyno-Romantic player experience over Andro-Romantic player experience. What that means is it doesn't matter if you're playing V as male, female, gay, straight, as long as you love the ladies, you will get a game-long, immersive, nuanced, slow burn romance, a 10-course meal. If you like the dudes, you get a snack. As an andro-romantic individual in real life, I feel a little bit like an afterthought. Remember before the game released and we were all thinking that we would be able to just slam ass all over Night City? We were thinking we could romance Johnny, Jackie, Evelyn. Hell, there were a few adventurous gamers out there who even thought that Smasher might be smashable.
You look like a cut of fuckable meat.
Hey, no kink shaming on this channel. I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum. So then the game dropped and we got the Fab Four. And I'm not talking about Meredith Stout. I'm not talking about Joy Toy hookups. I'm not talking about anything that happens with Johnny in the driver's seat. I am talking about Panam, Judy, Carrie, and River in descending order of the amount of time you get to spend with them.
To her boobs.
And I feel like we have to start by talking about Panam, because love her or hate her,
You won't be able to get rid of me.
when I initially played Cyberpunk 2077, Panam struck me as a Yennefer Triss hybrid. Did anyone else get that impression? She's bossy, she's in charge, she gets shit done, she tells V what to do and she doesn't take any shit, but she's also really needy, really desperate for V's attention and later his affection. She's clingy, she's a little bit insecure, as we'll find out later, and she loves V ferociously, but not fearlessly.
Yet with you, I prefer to play it safe.
Still, when I play the game as male V, I feel like Panam is going to break every cybernetic bone in my body because she's holding on so tightly. I don't like it. But when I play as female V, I feel like she's just riding my ass constantly. And she reminds me of a Hunbot trying to recruit me into an MLM. Does anybody else get that impression? Is it just me? It may just be me. But regardless of how I personally feel as a player, I am firmly convinced that the entire team at CDPR were all collectively, madly in a love with Panam. And nobody stopped to consider, hey, this character is really flippin' intense. She might not vibe with everybody. And I think the bottom line is that she was written to appeal to male players, not so much to female players. So I asked a couple of my male gamer buddies what they thought of Panam. Why did they adore her so very much? Number one answer with a bullet was deadass. But the second most common answer was some variation of the sentiment that it felt great to be in a romantic relationship with a person who cared so very deeply for V.
Because I truly care this time.
Also, what I perceived as bossy behavior, one of my guy friends perceived as sassy behavior. Same dialogue, same delivery, very different perceptions. Could there be a gender difference? I don't know. I would need a larger sample size. Another common response was, she makes you work for it. Okay. Now, I can understand why putting in some effort, getting to know someone, building up the relationship would feel more authentic. It would feel more like a real world romance. And I don't think that Panam is deliberately playing hard to get. I feel like when she initially rebuffs V's advances after they toast to Haboobs, I think that she's just protecting herself. She knows she has these intense feelings for him, these growing feelings for him, and she doesn't want to surrender those feelings until she's absolutely certain that she can trust V. That makes sense. I think we do that in real life. So after a few missions with her, long missions with her, missions that run into missions that run into missions with her, it's a lot of Panam. She will finally start to open up to V, and she will admit that she might be controlling, she might be demanding, but that's all kind of stemming from some insecurities, particularly insecurities over her reliance on the Aldecaldos. Essentially, Panam is obsessively loyal to certain members of her clan. I'm thinking of characters like Mitch and Scorpion. And then she also has this general sense of loyalty to the family as a whole. But there is also tension, especially the constant butting of heads between Panam and Saul.
Fuck, Panam! You can see them from miles away!
And that tension leads to the impression that her position within the family is precarious, to say the least. Overall, she is an extremely well-written, nuanced, complex, physically gorgeous character, and she'd be any guy's dream girl, right? I mean, you tell me. I don't know. I'm not a guy. Personally, and I'm not sure if I'm speaking as a female or just as an individual, I'm sure that there are guys who feel this way. I'm sure that there are females who don't feel this way. But I hate it when someone sinks their claws into me, especially when they do it too quickly. And that's what it feels like when you're playing as female V and you're hanging out with Panam. It feels forced. It feels too fast. It feels like too much too soon. You know, when you meet somebody and you have a couple of cool things in common, you think, okay, I'll keep in touch with this person. But in their mind, you're BFFs, and so they start blowing up your phone. They're monopolizing your time. They're peeing in front of you, and you feel like you're being absolutely smothered by them. Even though you like them at first, now you're just like, oh my God, get away, get away. I need breathing room. That's what I feel like. Was that dramatic? Yeah, that was dramatic. I'm sorry. So, pro tip from a mental health standpoint, boundaries are important. And I feel like the game should allow you to establish boundaries, and it just doesn't. It is perfectly fine to answer a call and say, hey, okay, I understand that you need something from me. Right now, I'm in the middle of clipping this data shard from all these gang goons. After that, I'm gonna go home, feed my cat, take a power nap, and then I will be more than happy to come rescue your frenemy from the wraiths. But the truth is that there are plenty of gamers out there who do not see Panam as being pushy or being intrusive. They actually enjoy her attention. So we all have different boundaries. We all draw the line at different places. So what feels like a boundary violation to one person might feel like love to another person. So do male V and Panam make a good couple? Well, I feel like if V is the type of person who feels loved by what I call overbearing caring, sure, they make a great couple. It's a beautiful love story. Plus, they're both mercs, and so they have that in common, which in theory should make Panam a lot more supportive of V's endeavors. But it seems to me like she's only super supportive when the Aldecaldos are involved in some way. And let's wrap things up by talking about the hanky-panky in the basilisk.
I regret one thing only. That we had so little time.
Was it hot? I don't fucking know, dude. I'm kind of asexual most of the time. I guess it was. But what I want to know is how the hell did Panam put her clothes back on so quickly. Those are some tight jeans. She's got leg harnesses. The leg harnesses are attached to her belt in the front and in the back. She had these huge boots on, the boots that she refused to take off after they toasted to her boobs. How did she do that? That is a bigger mystery to me than FF06B5. To sum it up, you get a whopping 10 missions with Pan Am. I think it's 10. If it's not 10, someone will correct me. But whatever the number is, you spend hours and hours and hours of gameplay by her side. I believe that you probably spend more time with Pan Am than you do with Johnny. They've also added a classy bit of sexting with Pan Am. She sends you a picture right before she hops in the shower. Didn't know they had showers at the Nomad camp. That actually makes the Nomad lifestyle seem just a little bit more appealing to me. But where's my sexy pic from Judy? She has such amazing tattoos.
I was just thinking of you. And before you ask, no, you weren't wearing clothes.
Oh, Judy. She's another one who's pretty slow to warm up. In fact, Judy, more so than Pan Am, does not trust V at all when they first meet. But after you go through some missions together, after you go through a whole disaster piece together, she'll come to trust you. And if you're a girl, she'll come to love you. But now that I'm thinking about it, the friendship with Judy and male V feels almost as forced to me as the friendship between Pan Am and female V, and let me explain why. You see, I always play male V with the intention that he's gay. Every playthrough, even if I happen to sleep with Pan Am, it's an experiment. I always play my male Vs as gay, but that's not inherently built into the character. And so it never really occurred to me that it's weird for Judy to get so emotionally close to a male, because I'm thinking, well, I'm a gay guy. She's a lesbian. We're natural allies. Of course we're buddies. But that's not the case for every male V. And the overall strangeness of the closeness between Judy and male V really smacked me in the face once I started listening to the lamentations of male gamers who desperately wanted to bone Judy as male V. It got creepy. As a person who has worked with women who have been the victims of trauma, or who have even been in the proximity of the trauma of someone close to them, they have a lot of trouble trusting men. And it doesn't matter. I know, not all men. I hear you. But put yourself in Judy's shoes. I don't see her ever being super close friends with a straight dude. I just don't. And just to cover my ass, let me add that it is absolutely possible for women to be victims of trauma perpetrated by other women. That is absolutely possible. Men can be victims, women can be victims, women can be perpetrators, men can be perpetrators. But in the game, the trauma that Evelyn experienced was at the hands of straight, perverted men. I get it, V's not a pervert, but still.
Just stop talking.
But enough with the PSAs. Let's talk about the sweet romance between Judy and female V. Just like you have to do with Pan Am, you do have to work to win Judy's affection. But I personally find myself more than happy to put in the work in order to win Judy over, whereas putting in the work with Pan Am feels fucking tedious. When I see that Judy's calling me or texting me, I get happy, I get excited, I want to talk to her, I want to see her. When I see that Pan Am is calling or texting me, I'm like, oh God, what now? Again, I think it just comes down to personal preferences. Judy's missions take place in Night City, and I love me some Night City. Not so much a fan of the Badlands, so that might play a role in why I like Judy a little bit more than Pan Am. But it also has to do with my personal values and my personal crusade. I am a person who crusades for the decriminalization of sex work. And that is something that the game really addresses with the dolls, with Clouds, with Judy, with the Mox. And so I find that extremely interesting and also close to my heart. So I guess you could say that my values align with Judy's values, and she's the type of person I would definitely be friends with in real life. So it doesn't matter if I'm female V and sparks are flying between me and Jude. It doesn't matter if I'm female V and I'm playing it straight. It doesn't matter if I'm male V and Judy and I are both queer. I like that character. So you know what? As I'm putting this video together and gathering clips, I'm noticing I have way more clips of V and Pan Am getting flirty and affectionate with each other outside of the Bang mission, outside of Queen of the Highway. With Judy, I don't have very many clips of V and Judy being flirty and affectionate outside of Pyramid Song, aside from the little peck on the cheek that you get at the end of Pisces. The only real indication that there are sparks starting to develop between V and Judy is when Johnny gives some delightful commentary.
Chick's got taste. Except for one thing.
And what's that?
Way she looks at you. Don't pretend you haven't noticed. Makes you all mushy inside. I can feel it.
And can we talk about Judy's occupation for a moment? Oh my God, tuning virtues and editing brain dances. How freaking cool is that? Can we make that a thing right now? Because I want that job.
Virtues are more to you than just a way to churn out eddies, huh?
Well, duh. Think paintings, songs. They're meant to produce emotion responses.
Generally how any kind of creativity works, sure.
Right, so art's a casing, trigger for emotion. Well, BDs are emotion in near pure form.
So in the mission Pyramid Song, which is the Bang mission that you get with Judy, she's working on tuning virtues, and specifically she's trying to figure out a way to marry two neural tracks. So I'm wondering, is she trying to figure out a way to marry V and Johnny's neural tracks in a way where they can peacefully coexist and V doesn't have to die? Wouldn't that be amazing? And while we're on the subject of Pyramid Song, which is the Bang mission, let's talk about the banging. So the sex scene between female V and Judy is actually one of the best in the game. It's one of the few sex scenes that didn't make me laugh or cringe or both. Although I have certain feelings about the Johnny and Alt scene, you don't need to know. But I will share with you some of my early experiences with playing Cyberpunk. So my very first playthrough, I romanced River. I know. Okay. As we know, in the early stages of the game release, the rumor mill was absolutely out of control, and some people were saying that you could get caught cheating. And I was so determined to make it work with River. But you know what? Wouldn't it be kind of interesting if you could get caught cheating? And what if they randomized it so you would never know if you would get caught or not? And they could randomize it even further so that you would never know if the person who busted your cheating ass would be forgiving or pissed off. That would make for such interesting gameplay. Can you imagine Pan Am busting V in bed with Carrie? Oh, dude, I would buy ringside seats to that fight. Of course, we now know that that's all bullshit. You can bang away with impunity. It's fine. But at the time, right after the initial release, I did not know that. And I was terrified of getting caught cheating. It felt real. I had visceral fear. So I'm sitting on the edge of the bathtub with Judy. She's been crying. She's going through some heavy shit. I absolutely adore her. And I don't want to hurt her feelings by rejecting her. And she's coming on pretty strong. But I also don't want to hurt River by cheating on him, even though River's going to get butthurt no matter what you do. So I finally just choose the empathic option. I comfort her. I give her a hug. hug.
That or
And
die.
then there's another
just think I
dialogue
was
option that
blaming
comes up where you could
Blame myself.
romance
already.
her then.
That's enough.
And I'm like, oh God, what do I do? What do I do? And so I picked the comforting option again. I gave her another hug. We had a little conversation. And then she looked a little bit dejected, but she just went to bed. I went to bed. And then the next morning, everything was chill. So we had the conversation. I got a key to her pad. I got the mock shotgun. She went on her merry way, but she kept in touch and everything was fine. And I was worried for absolutely no reason. Anyway, I eventually figured out that it was all fine, that you could romance two people. So on my second playthrough, I came to my senses.
Wanted this to be just our day. I wanted. It is ours.
But let's talk about the Nomad ending. Sure, you can ruin Judy's plans and drag her off with you when you decide to go join a cult, I mean clan. But I have a feeling that she's gonna dump your ass eventually, because if you run off with the Aldecaldos, you will become Panam's little lapdog / sidekick, and she will not allow you to put anyone before her. That includes your girlfriend. So, in my opinion, Judy is going to dump your ass and run off with Carol. I think they kind of make a cute couple. Once again, the game absolutely shoves canonically heterosexual Panam down your throat. Even if you are a lesbian in a relationship, oh my God, make it make sense. And at the very end of the Nomad ending, who's by your side? Your lady love, Judy Alvarez? No, it's Panam fucking Palmer. Why? Why isn't it Judy?
So it's 2015. If you could do it all again, what would you change? Anything at all?
Yeah, I do, Carrie.
Huh?
And finally, it's time to talk about the male romances. And I want to start by talking about the fun male romance. My man, Carrie Uridine. Whether he's my cool rock star buddy or he's on the fast track to becoming my input, output, input. What do you call it when it's a same-sex relationship? Fictional 2077 slang aside, Carrie is one of my favorite characters in the game. He's cool as fuck. I think he's hilarious. I enjoy his missions, but he's also kind of got a darker side and a more vulnerable side. And both male and female V get to see the dark side, the vulnerable side, although male V gets a little kiss after he sees the dark side.
Does it matter? Nah, not anymore.
Also, Carrie is the only romanceable character who gets flirty with V pretty much right off the bat.
Feel like shit too?
Nah, need a power nap. Wanna join me?
But he gets flirty with female V as well.
So you changed a bit. Nice rack.
And that's another topic for another time. Actually, Carrie's debatable bisexuality or bisexual erasure is a pretty hot topic in the cyberpunk community right now, so I might have to put in my 2 cents worth. Watch for the video. Spoiler alert, I personally don't give a fuck that I can't fuck Carrie as female V, but I think some other things might be going on. Namely, I think that the developers were so fucking lazy with the attention they gave to the male romances in the game. They didn't even bother to change the dialogue depending on V's gender. Just a theory. And while we're talking about that theory, let me just give you a little shred of evidence. This is what River says to male V on the water tower.
Sure you don't mind me drinking? Probably lots more.
No, you kidding? Your spot this. Your customs.
You'll hang with me, though. I can be awfully charming when drunk.
Anyway, while Panam and Judy both feel like serious long-term relationships and River feels like a failed attempt at a serious long-term relationship, Carrie feels like a fling. He feels like a good fling, a fun fling, a fling that actually gives a shit about you, but he feels like a fling. It feels very casual. even with the flirty text and the sleepovers that one of the updates shoehorned into the game to satisfy andro-romantic players, Carrie and V are never going to end the game staring off at the stars on the hood of a basilisk. And I love the fact that after V and Carrie hook up on the flaming boat, Carrie doesn't get all insecure and, oh, V, where's this going? Do we have a future? He's just like, yo, that was cool. Want to do it again? That's the perfect response. I love that.
Fuck doing things by the Night City book. You and me, we deserve a round two.
But I'm speaking as a straight woman who enjoys being single. I do not speak for gay men, and I'm curious to know how gay men would feel about the fact that the one gay male relationship depicted in the game is kind of a glorified hookup, because the research will tell you that there are plenty of gay men out there who are seeking long-term relationships and do feel disillusioned with hookup culture. But the most interesting thing to me about the relationship with Carrie is Johnny.
You want to hear a new... Johnny! He's gone, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, how freaking awkward must it be for Johnny to be stuck in V's head while V is banging his former bandmate? Now, there is rumored to be some dialogue alluding to Johnny's bisexual tourism back in the day.
I thought you preferred girls. Mostly. Now and then I swung both ways. The more the merrier.
But even if he did swing both ways at one point, the relationship that he had with Carrie was extremely contentious. So I'm thinking that even if there was attraction on some level at some point, it still has to be hella awkward. Carrie, on the other hand, doesn't seem to mind at all that Johnny's in V's head.
Is he... Does it matter?
Nah, not anymore.
And I do think that it's highly likely that Carrie was attracted to Johnny back in the day. I mean, Johnny will tell you, Carrie wanted me, but I mean, come on, you can't take his word for it.
Problem with Care was he had a dick, meaning I wasn't interested.
I also think it's really interesting that Johnny gives V shit about Pan Am, Judy, and especially River, but he doesn't say anything about Carrie.
Well, there is this one musician.
Who, Carrie?
Yeah, Carrie.
What? Didn't say anything.
Maybe the silence is speaking louder than the shit talking. And of course, I have to tell you the number of missions you get with Carrie. You get 5. Remember that you get 10, give or take, depending on the ending that you choose with Pan Am and Judy. And then when you start looking at the actual gameplay time that you get to spend with him, it's even less. On top of that, you can entirely miss all of Carrie's missions. If you decide to call it quits, get your end game on, go ahead and go meet Hanako at Embers and not do any of the samurai missions. I highly recommend doing those, by the way. They're really fun. But you can entirely miss Carrie. You can also entirely miss River. The girls, can't miss them. They're part of the main story missions. Do I smell gyno-romantic favoritism, or am I just looking for it too hard? Another bit of bad news for players who like to romance dudes. Well, both of the dudes in the game are pretty much giggity gone as soon as you bang. But when I say that both of the guys are giggity gone once you get it on, I'm just talking about novel face-to-face interactions and substantial involvement in future missions. You do get some new sexy texting, and you do get to do sleepovers, so I would like to thank the devs for that. We finally live in a version of Night City where your male lover will still text you and let you sleep over at his house once the legs or the butt cheeks have spread. And let me wrap up this section by talking about the rogue/sun/path of glory ending and the shining example that Carrie sets of how to be a supportive lover to V. Now, Panam, Judy, and River are all pretty much butthurt by V's new lifestyle. They go back and forth between being pissed off and then being worried about V, but overall, they are all really unhappy with the state of the relationship, while Carrie is super cool with it and super supportive of V's plan to go pull off a heist at the Crystal Palace. I think that that's amazing. When I get into that Delamain AV and I leave Panam, Judy, or River standing there sulking on the balcony, I long for the single Merc life. When I leave Carrie standing on that balcony, I can't wait to go fucking rob that joint, come home, curl up, and then just listen to my hot rock star boyfriend play guitar.
Me. But damn it, no matter how hard I try, I can't forget him. Yeah.
Christ, V. Can't believe you're making me fuck a cop.
Oh, just deal with it, Johnny. Moving on to River. The disappointing romance in the game. Now, I often hear both male and female fans of Cyberpunk expressing extreme dislike for River. And to be honest, I was one of them after my first few playthroughs. And then it dawned on me. River's not a dick. V is. Okay, maybe she's not a dick, but she's just not that into him. And I plan to make an entire video about how V is the asshole in the failed attempt at a romance with River. But as far as the romance with River goes, if you can even call it a romance, you get 3 missions. That's right. 3 missions, less than 3 total hours of gameplay. That is criminal. Somebody call the NCPD. Oh wait, River doesn't work there anymore. But as for the missions that you do get, 2 out of 3 of them are solid. I thought the law is a good mission. The hunt is one of the best missions in the game. And following the river is really awkward. So let's dive right into the bang mission since there's not much else to discuss. You get to River's house. Actually, no, it's Joss's house. Where the hell does River live? You never find out. Anyway, you get to Joss's, you help River cook, you sit down and you have some really heavy convo. And after that heavy convo, you play a little game called Big Trouble in Haywood. That is the same game that Anthony Harris, aka Peter Pan, sent Randy. And Dorian and Monique are now obsessed with this game. So you play. But I think that's freaking creepy. But creepy or not, the kids like it, you have some light entertainment, and then you sit down to dinner and Joss starts grilling V about her feelings for River, and she also spills the beans about River's crush on V. Now, all of this would have been absolutely adorable if River didn't look so damned uncomfortable. I mean, just look at the guy. This is a grown man. He is acting like he's in junior high and somebody just ratted him out for having a crush on somebody. So he is so uncomfortable that he deltas, drags V along with him, makes her climb up a water tower, and then, after never once flirting with V in any obvious way, confesses that he is in love with her.
Just don't fall in love with me.
Too late, V. Too late.
So let's talk about the album for a minute. I've played Cyberpunk many times, and I always pay special attention to the romanceable characters because it's always been in the back of my mind that I eventually wanted to do a video essay about Cyberpunk Romance. And I cannot find any other instance of any of the other romanceable characters dropping the L-bomb with V, just River. Just the most lackluster romance in the game. And the cherry on top is V won't say it back. The game won't let her. So let's return to the top of the water tower. River has just confessed his love for V, and she does have the option to opt out. She can say, yes, I want you. Oh, fuck. You're in love with me? Never mind. But I personally never choose that option because I really like River and I want to make it work even though there's no way in hell to make it work. But then, this is what gets me. He makes her climb all the way back down and they bang in the trailer with his family there, with little kids in the next room. Why didn't he just bang her on the water tower? That would have been so much hotter. And if banging on top of a water tower seems a little too adventurous to you, keep in mind that V and Carrie banged on a boat that was going up in flames. I actually forgot to mention that scene when I was talking about the V-Carrie romance. Do I think that was hot? Well, yeah, it was hot. Was it sexy? I mean, it seemed dangerous to me. I personally would have dealt it out of there and had sex in the ocean. Not on the beach, sand in the crack, but the ocean. That would have been a preferable place. So let's say that River isn't quite adventurous or aggressive enough to just grab V right then and there and take her on the water tower. God, that would have been hot. He could have at least taken her to Randy's trailer. I mean, that's where they go when they get wasted instead of getting naked.
Fun yesterday.
River also has the distinction of being the only romanceable character who does not kiss V before the bang mission. Now, Pan Am kisses V long before they co-pilot the Basilisk together, and then Carrie and Judy kiss V in the mission prior to the bang mission, so you at least get a little bit of time to enjoy the butterflies between the smooch and the smash.
And how am I doing?
Not well, my dude. I mean, you don't know how to flirt, you didn't test the waters with a little kiss before you dropped the L-bomb, and then there are things that are not your fault. So let's talk about all of the things that they should have done with River, that they could have done with River, and they just didn't. I think it would have made a lot of sense to bring River in for the Happy Together mission. You know, the mission with Barry, the neighbor, the guy who was on the force and now he's really depressed. River could have been such a good ally with that mission. And I also think he could have helped out the Paralysis with their security problem. Because after all, V met River through Jefferson Paralysis. That would have made so much sense. He's so underutilized and he's so cute and he's so sweet and it makes me so disappointed. I also think it would have been really cool if River had involved V in his PI business. I mean, he could have had her go clip some things. He could have had her go spy on somebody. She's a merc. She knows her way around that kind of business, but instead, he just sends some text and is like, oh, hey, what do I call my business? And she sends him some suggestions. She also sends him some suggestive text about seeing that private dick in private action. Now, River and V get raunchy with their texting. Holy shit. Judy sends cute little drunk texts. Carrie sends silly, flirtatious texts. Pan Am texts you fucking novels and a sexy pic. But River and V get positively X-rated. She's talking about his dick. He's talking about having a dream that he was a motorcycle and she was riding him. He tells her that he's gonna have her begging for more next time they screw. Whew! He even drops another L-bomb through a text message. And then when you see him in person, you get this.
What's on your mind, V?
I mean, dude has zero game in person. I take that back. He does have a little bit of game the morning after, but then as soon as it's clear that V is not quite sure where she wants this relationship to go, he slumps his broad shoulders and he just looks dejected. Even if you pick the dialogue option that is a resounding yes, complete with a kiss, V will add,
let's give it a try.
But if it doesn't work, we'll still be friends. Right? And you have no control over that dialogue. It just plays automatically. That breaks the immersion for me because I have dealt with slightly insecure men before, and that ain't how you do it. And I'm not saying that insecurity is an unattractive quality in a man. In fact, usually if a man is acting insecure around a woman he likes, it's because he really, really likes her. And I, as the gamer, really do like River. Now, there is one little known way where you can get an optimistic cliffhanger with the River romance at the end of the game. If you choose the Arasaka Devil ending and you call River from the Arasaka space station, he will don his white armor, he will mount his white steed, and he will ride off into space to rescue you.
So glad I've got you.
Yeah, good. I don't want to lose you. So take good care of yourself until I get there. I'm gonna find you. Hear me?
And I have to wonder, how would the fan base have reacted if they had made the Pan Am romance as lackluster as the River romance? What if they had forced male gamers who wanted to play as male V to hit it and quit it with Pan Am, the way they forced female gamers who wanted to play as female V to hit it and quit it with River? I feel like there would have been outrage if they had done that. Am I raging? I don't know. Am I? Does this seem like raging? Does it matter? I mean, I'm a female gamer who likes guys. Do I matter? I have an entire wrap-up chapter scripted for this video, but I'm scrapping that and saving it for another time because I need to wrap things up now and get this video out in time for V-Day. Get it? V-Day. I'm such a dork. And if you are still watching at this point, hi Mom! Seriously though, I really do appreciate it. I know that it's been a bit rough. I have new editing software. I have not figured out my lighting yet, and I've been away from YouTube for 4 years, so I'm rusty. But I'm very happy to be back, and I do appreciate you spending some time roaming the realms of romance in Night City with me. As always, follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back. Link is down below. Very special shout out to you if you were watching this video on the toilet. And until next time, enjoy your joy responsibly, and I will see you in the V is the asshole video.
Oh, it hurts! It hurts like a motherfucker!